Okay, that is right, guys. Your eyes do not deceive you. I'm sure if anybody was ready to watch the show right on time, you're like, it's 1 o'clock, so we got a 10-minute bathroom break. Uh-oh. This is one of those magical days where the show starts right on time. Welcome to the Wednesday Rundown Rush for October the 5th, 2022. We're just going to talk a little bit about one topic real quick as we do on the Wednesday Rundown Rush. And as always, on these, I almost called it a quickie. Nope, can't do that. Joining me today
Nope.
is Sarah Catherine the Red.
Nope. Hi,
Not,
everybody.
like, no, never, never. And then
No.
she hits that button where the slap hits me across the back of the head for almost destroying the whole damn show, like in record time. That was close. How the
It's an
brain kicked
extreme
in.
close-up, Chris.
Well, your contract told me, wait. Was that a reference to what was that? Wayne's World? Extreme close up.
It could
Oh,
be.
yeah, there we go. Okay, let's fix it.
Ah.
Let's fix it right now. Look, in real time. Look, I apologize. Let me see if I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
What? It's not working. Uh-oh. There
No,
we go.
I'm just a floating head.
Yeah, floating head. There you go. Here. Let's fix that. Boom. There you go.
There we
There.
go.
So, guys, as I'm fixing this extreme close-up situation here, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk. We have one topic that we're just gonna discuss. It just hit me the other day after watching the trailer to Wakanda Forever, as you see a little footage right here. The theory obviously is coming true. I guess is coming to fruition that we are going to have our female Black Panther, as
Yeah.
seen right here in the graphic, as it was in the trailer. So it's obviously going to be Shuri that's going to be in it. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be. It's pretty much where it's going to or pointing to. That's Shuri. So my question was,
Mm-hmm.
where does her powers come from? So that's what we're going to speculate a little bit, a little theory, little just quick little topic with Sarah about little of what we're expecting from this movie. Well, after watching the trailer, Sarah, what did you any speculations, any rumors, any theories that come to mind?
Looking at the trailer and then doing a little digging, a little research,
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're just going to come with the same origins that where she got her powers from, and it's not necessarily powers. Um, like it's not like she can fly or anything. It's just extreme. It's heightened speed, agility, stamina,
Yeah, super
acrobatics.
soldier
So just
stuff.
like yeah, just like T'Challa. So she's going to come in and do that. And in the comic books, that's what actually happens. So she ends up eating the heart-shaped herb or ingesting the heart-shaped herb as well. That's how T'Challa got his powers. And so she does that, and she's actually, and I can quote the which comic book that she shows up in. So her first appearance within the MCU is in 2005 with Black Panther Volume 4 and the second Volume 4 number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't get her powers. And I'll scroll down here and see where I can find when she gets her powers. So she gets her powers kind of later on, and she does dress up, and the outfit is similar to the Black Panther, but slightly different, and she seems to have like a purple cape
Mm-hmm.
in the comics. So it'll be interesting to see
That's interesting
how
because
they're
your sound is still coming through perfectly, but for some reason Discord the animation isn't popping in that much. It's freezing on my end. I gotta fix whatever problem that
on
is with.
YouTube too. I'm watching it on YouTube as well, and it's choppy.
Yeah, yeah. As far as, let me double check. Maybe I might have to go back to Zoom if
Mhm.
this keeps going on. I can't figure out why we can't get it going with Discord. But no, but keep going. What you were saying?
Yeah. So I mean, shows up in 2005 in the first Black Panther um, comic book,
Mm-hmm.
and then she keeps going until about 2010, where she appears in Black Panther Power Volume 5, number 7 through 12. and then later in 2011 and 2017. So she's kind of skipping around, and she's not like a fixture of a character within the comic books. And then, yeah, in 2020, that's when she gets her own kind of comic book, and it's called Shuri, Wakanda Forever, and it's volume 1 through 10, and then she's kind of the main character in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see if are they going to pick up, kind of do her hop skipping around within the Black Panther universe, or is she going to come in and are they going to basically do the Shuri volumes and the Quest for Black Panther volumes that she was the main character in those comics. So it'll be interesting to see, but ultimately she gets her powers the same way that the original Black Panther, her brother, did.
But
And
that lies the problem.
Something similar.
But that wouldn't lie the problem why I posted the question, because in Black Panther movie, Michael B. Jordan character Killmonger purposely destroyed all of the heart-shaped herbs, so he would be the last, or what he thought was the last, all of the herbs, because he wanted to make sure he was the last and final Black Panther. He didn't want anyone coming after him with those same powers. He ordered the people to destroy all those herbs. Luckily, there was one left, and when they found T'Challa, they gave it to him, and then that's how he was able to be defeated by T'Challa. But by the end of that movie, theoretically, all those herbs were destroyed. They were all gone. So my question is, where would this new, if it's Shuri or if it's someone else, whoever it is, where does this new power come from? In the MCU,
it has to be, yeah. I'm sure they're gonna find somebody squirreled one away or something like that, because it doesn't make sense for them to completely change the origin, unless they're making her rely solely on her technology, because she was a freaking scientist. So maybe she synthesizes one. She could synthesize one. Based off of, maybe they found a part of one and then she can genetically copy it or clone it or something like that. I don't know.
All right,
it'll be interesting to see.
You're getting on to what I was theorizing, but no, go ahead.
Yeah, but ultimately, I hope that they don't stray too far from the story and what we've seen with the other MCUs and the other movies and series. Don't depart completely. At least with the big things. And I really think that the origin of her powers, having that heart-shaped herb, really would make her the Black Panther, and so completely departing from that, I think, would be a mistake for the storyline. At least it would upset a lot of the diehard MCU fans, I think.
Let me see if I can. I don't know why it's choppy on your end.
YouTube is crazy.
Well, the animation on my end isn't. So it's probably. I think it's Discord. If you want to try to click off and click back on, we can try that. But it seems it might be working a little bit better now. Let me continue on. But what you were saying was kind of getting close to what I was going at. In regards to my theories, Shuri is the smartest person in the MCU, and even smarter than Tony Stark. There's multiple ways where she could probably, what you were saying, like synthesize it. She could try to recreate the Captain America super soldier serum. She could have tried. She probably was able to hunt that stuff down and recreate it herself. I have. It could be all in the suit. She could. She could have created a new suit that could help mimic. Since we have a new character, Ironheart, that's going to be like a Tony Stark kind of a character in this. It could all be about the suits now that's able to mimic that same strength. Because the suit itself, it protects you, it gives you extra strength, but there's also the heart-shaped herb that gives you that that super soldier boost as well. So you don't really need the suit. Yeah,
the heart-shaped herb, like within Black Panther, not only gives you those extra powers, but it's also powered by your ancestors and everything kind of like passed down through generations. So if they're able to synthesize it, it won't have that extra pep of
Right.
being passed down through the generations, having that generational power. So
Hmm.
that'll be interesting. And the only way that I
That
can
might be
think
one of the
of for them to
struggles
get
in the
around it,
story. Mm.
yeah, the only way I can think of for them to get around it is if they have a piece of it left and perhaps she repairs it or helps it regrow itself into the whole thing.
Right.
I mean,
Because
that's the only way that I can see them still applying that historical those historical powers through those generations and
right.
generations, and that really was the significance of that herb. At
Doing
least I
what
thought.
Killmonger did in part one. Yeah, you're right. It was a
Mhm.
total cutoff to their ancestral that spirit plane and everything like that.
Yeah.
So there goes my next theory. Well, we're kind of connecting
Mhm.
to it. Now it's gonna get like you kind of touched on it. Like you was talking about synthesizing it. Maybe she found the now the last herb that they had, they gave it to T'Challa so he could defeat Killmonger. With
Mhm.
Killmonger being dead, with T'Challa now being dead, technically all of it's gone. But here's my thing.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, now during the snap, it's been also said that Shuri was also snapped away, so she was gone. So with Shuri being in
Mhm.
this movie, this takes place after the snap. So
Yeah.
now that you're back, you now your brother is now her and T'Challa came back in Endgame, but now that he's gone
Mhm.
in this movie, how the question about synthesizing it, I like that. Now here's my crazy morbid
Yeah.
theory: the dead bodies of
Okay.
former Black Panthers. I think Shuri dug up DNA from multiple
Mhm.
Black Panthers just to be able to have enough samples of it of the DNA of Black Panthers of who had the serum in their blood or in their DNA when
Yeah.
they died, and is able to draw it from the dead. That would
Maybe.
to re what you say to re create one of those orbs from the dead
But
DNA. That's my theory.
there is the goo. Because remember, they lay down and they kind of get covered in this goo, and then they go to the tree, right?
Well, no, they drink from that's just to go that ritual was just to go and communicate with the
Yeah,
ancestors. That wasn't where they got
there
the
has to be
power comes
some.
from the herb.
Yeah, but there has to be some significance to the goo. Like
You keep
all of
calling it the
that
goo.
has some significance.
What goo are we talking about? Are we talking about the when they get laid down and what
Mhm.
goo are we talking about? You talking about the herb when they crush the
Yeah.
herb down and they
So
drink it?
when they crush and they drink it and they kind of lay down in like this goop, right?
I forgot that what it was. Yeah, that it was like a plant that like bed that they laid down in. That wasn't what, if I remember correctly, that wasn't what sent. I forgot what the ritual totally was. All I
Mhm.
know is that what gave them their powers came from the heart shaped herb, and that's all being
Yeah.
destroyed. Killmonger destroyed
Yeah.
all of that. It's all gone. So
Supposedly.
I mean,
So
there was
maybe there
one
were
in the
extras
movie.
we
There
don't
was
know.
one. They found one. There could be
Yeah.
a fix in there where it's
If
like
they
there was
found one, then
a secret stash somewhere. That's probably what they're gonna say.
mhm.
I don't know. What do you
Well,
think?
all they need is the one.
No, yeah,
All they need is the
they
one.
needed the one. Yeah, if they had in part one, they had one left,
Yeah.
and they gave it to T'Challa.
Yeah.
But if they had one
Yeah.
where they could replant it and grow more, they didn't have time to do that because they needed to kill
Yeah.
Killmonger right there on the spot. So they crushed it and gave it to T'Challa. So theoretically, it's
Yeah.
all gone. And T'Challa was supposed to be the
Maybe.
last Black Panther. So
It can't be all gone because ultimately we know in the MCU, per the comic books, that Shuri gets her powers from the heart-shaped herb
yeah,
in the
but
comics.
the MCU draws from the comic books as a source. It doesn't stick to the comic books 100%. Captain America: Civil War was not 100% what Civil War in the
No,
comic books
not
was.
I'm not saying 100%, but fundamentally, the origins of his powers, the fundamental story is about the same. Yes, they took
Right.
theatrical, all that stuff, but ultimately, like I can't imagine her getting her. She ultimately has to get it from the heart. She does, because that stays true to her character and her origins within the comics. How that heart comes together, or how that heart originates, is,
So
I guess, the question.
and that's my ultimate question. How do you reconcile that? If
Yeah.
two things have to be true. See, you don't 100% have to stick to the source material. We've proven that. They take liberties all the time. You do have to stay, unless you want plot holes and inconsistencies. You do have to stay consistent in the mythology that you've already established in your movie. And in this universe, they destroyed all the flowers. The only way to reconcile that is
Maybe
secret
they
stat.
didn't, is what
Well,
all
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I'm just going based on what they said in Black Panther. In Black Panther, Killmonger said he gave the order. Where are all the crops at? They're right here. Destroy them all now, and they obeyed that order. Theoretically, and then
Maybe somebody put one of them in their
we
pockets.
we
We
didn't
don't
see.
know.
Yeah, but we didn't. That's theorizing, but we didn't see that. We saw they only
Yeah.
had one left, and they offered it to M'Baku. M'Baku showed that T'Challa was still alive, and they gave it to T'Challa and brought him back. His strength brought his
Yeah.
strength back. So theoretically,
But,
all
like,
of them are gone. So my question is,
Yeah.
how would you reconcile it under those rules that the MCU set up? They're all gone, but we need a new Black Panther after T'Challa. Where
so
where
I
would you
think
like it
somebody
to go?
pocketed one.
You
I think somebody pocketed one.
that's,
I mean, that
that's
makes
what you.
sense.
I mean, that's how you would write it. You would write it that somebody
Because-
stashed something.
Yeah, because
Okay.
right now, when they finished the first Black Panther, they didn't know that that would be the last Black Panther with T'Challa. They didn't know that. So now they're going to have to figure out how to reconcile this new direction that they're going with Shuri.
Right.
And
But
maybe they
yeah.
always planned to do this with Shuri.
No,
We don't know, because she has her own
yeah.
sets of comics.
And that's my
Maybe.
point. They did not.
Eventually.
They did the story with Killmonger destroying all the herbs. When they're being discovered that there was one left, and to give it to T'Challa. If Chadwick Boseman had never died, the moving
Yeah.
forward, he would be technically the last
Absolutely.
Black Panther, unless they figured out a way later on to. You're probably right. Whatever mechanism to pass the torch in the
They're
future,
gonna have to figure
they
out
probably
how to
had
do
to
it.
speed. They probably sped that up. Like whatever they were gonna probably do in theoretically, let's say like in Black Panther 4, when it's time for
Yeah.
T'Challa to pass the torch to somebody, whether it be a child or his sister or something. You're probably right. They probably are activating that device, that plot, because right now it's a plot hole. All the flowers are destroyed. T'Challa was given the last
So
one.
we think.
But that's
I don't know.
But that's adding something. I'm only going based on what was laid down. Now to correct that, we then have to add. Oh, I'm sorry, there was a secret stash. That's adding on to it. That's not. But that.
I mean, really.
Go
If
ahead.
some evil dictator said, "Hey, go ahead and destroy all of this stuff that would help overthrow me and all this stuff," I'd be the first one shoving that shit in my pockets.
Yeah, but you
I would
probably.
be putting it in my pocket.
But you'd probably be the first person executed when he found out. I mean, Killmonger wasn't dumb. And on top of that, he was there watching.
How's he gonna know?
He was there. He was
Nobody's telling.
He was in the room when they destroyed
There's a
it.
lot of people.
You-
There was more than a couple people. You didn't see him searching
This is
anybody.
not-
He just trusted
this
that they
is
were
this
doing
is a
it.
conversation now about hope and what you want. I'm asking to make a logical assessment based on what we were given. Not
Yeah.
not a
I
not a
still think
I would have
somebody
stuffed the
pocketed
flower
it.
in my pocket. Like let's say that did not happen. How would you then fix it moving forward?
Well, I mean, we talked about it. She's gonna have to either synthesize, or
Right.
they have a part of it, or
Right.
clone it, or something.
Something.
They're gonna have to figure out some way using technology or something like that to do it.
I like that
unless
theory better. I
somebody's
like that.
spirit shows up with one and hands it over to them in a dream or something.
I think that's only the logical way to do it because because in Black Panther 1, he said the one thing that he was going to do was he was going to open the border up. He was going to start
Yeah.
sharing technology, showing the world what Wakanda can really do. Which like the joke about, well, maybe we can bring a Starbucks in, which means trade is now about to start happening.
Awesome.
Another thing that they could trade is secrets, which would be, hey, since we did, help defeat Thanos on Wakanda soil, that last battle happened on. Hey, can we talk to your government and get a little bit of that super soldier serum? We need it. So, and we'll give you some vibranium. Give me that. Some, quid pro quo. Huh?
Maybe.
I mean, if you were,
I don't know. I want it to be the heart herb. I want her to
Yeah.
get her powers the way that she, was meant to,
Right.
which, so that's my hope that they don't completely change that.
There she is, right there. I agree. I'm just messing around with all these hypotheses and theories and whatnot. I
It
just
kind of looks similar to the Batman suit.
it
It looks
always
a little
does.
different
Yeah,
than
yeah.
yeah,
You
but
know,
even
no,
like the Black Panther one
you know what
looked
you know what
different.
that suit reminds me of? Killmonger's suit.
What?
Killmonger's suit had gold in it. That was the second suit that she was working on.
That's right.
That was the suit she was working on that that T'Challa never wore. That was the next one she was
Yeah.
working on, and that was the one that Killmonger took. That might be the same suit but altered. They didn't bury him in
Yeah.
it.
No,
He couldn't
they
keep
did
it.
not.
You're not taking it with you, brother.
Yeah.
So that might be that suit, or it might be Mach 3.
That's
It
right.
might be it might be the next one after the next model after that, and she just likes gold because
Yeah.
who wouldn't like a little gold in it,
What girl doesn't like gold? Come on.
right? Well, the girls who like platinum.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
I'm thinking that's probably Mach 3. It's either the same suit but altered, or that's the third or fourth model afterwards. Here's my last question before we wrap this up.
Sure.
Any other theories? Here's another theory that's been bouncing around. Any other surprise characters besides, we know Namor is going to be in. Anybody else that you think or have heard might come into play into this in this movie?
So in the comics,
There
she
we go.
has several dealings with Wolverine.
Well, we're not getting Wolverine. We're getting Wolverine in Deadpool 3. It's not happening in this one.
How do we know? Do we know that?
Well, the whole thing with the contract for the original Fox people hasn't been lifted yet. If any Wolverine until 2025, if any X-Men characters are used, it would have to be the people that signed the last contract, which is why Hugh Jackman can still come in Deadpool. It's not, the X-Men ain't coming until way after Deadpool. Other characters that have not been used, like around X-Men maybe, that have not been used yet, maybe.
I'd love to see some mutants.
Well,
I
we
definitely
are.
want more mutants in
We're getting
my
one.
life.
Namor. They've already announced Namor is a mutant. They're officially announcing that he's a mutant. The rumor is Doctor Strange. Not Doctor. I'm sorry, not Doctor Strange. The rumor is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is rumored
Dr. Doom.
either is going to make a cameo or is going to at least have a hand. And my theory is, if we don't see it, he might be the cause of this rift or this war that's divide and conquer. Have Namor's people and the Wakandians fight, and then when it's all done, go in there, swoop in, do your Doctor Doom
What
thing,
about
and take over.
Kang?
Kang is definitely a possibility, but I doubt it.
I think we've been waiting for that character to show up in a movie, and this might just be the movie.
No, it's Quantum Manium, whatever. That it's going to be an Ant-Man. He's going to make his appearance.
Oh, I know, but
You think he might?
like,
You think he might
yeah,
have like a Thanos type of little look at the
he
camera
could,
kind of
because
smile?
because if this movie, in the scheme of how Black Panther was supposed to go, was quite farther down the line, he could be a player in this movie, and that would be a great bad guy.
That's possible, but I mean, overall bad guy. I know they're gonna save that for the Avengers, but just like Thanos pulling the strings, make a little cameo. Maybe it was Thanos it was Kang all along, possibly.
Something like that, because they need a big bad. All the movies, you got to have this big bad guy, and then you got little bad guys.
So you
You
think by
know,
the end of the movie, Namor and his people and the Wakandans are gonna squash it?
maybe. No, they're not gonna. They won't ultimately. They'll solve little bad guys, but not the big bad guy. Because
Like,
then there won't be any more movies.
no, I mean, do you believe that Namor, who is set up to be the main antagonist, by the end of the movie,
Yeah.
they'll come together and to probably fight a bigger bad at the end?
Not. I don't think at the end of this movie, like they'll resolve the
But
initial conflict,
but they'll still
and
be
that'll
at.
open the door up to the wider conflict. Because there's going to be more than one movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, now that they've switched gears, there's probably going to be at least one or two more movies, maybe. And, so they can't completely resolve everything in this movie. They have to kind of leave it open.
So you think by the end of the movie they'll still be at odds, those two sides?
I don't know. I don't know. It depends
I
on
mean,
whether
yeah.
they put him as a smaller villain underneath a bigger villain than they could,
I see what you're saying. Like
you
if
know,
he's being,
get
if his
him
strings are being
like a
pulled.
hierarchy. Yeah, like
Hmm.
he's working for somebody else or something like that. I mean, that
Well,
would
he's a,
make
or, I
sense.
mean, he's a
They can
king.
always,
He's not working, not knowingly. He's not.
well, he could be partnered or allied with somebody that's a bigger bad. We don't know.
I don't know.
This one's going to be difficult to place because I'm hoping like they worked really hard on it and didn't kind of like smush it together in order to, keep the Black Panther franchise going. I hope that they really pulled from the comics and built it in a way that it can continue in a logical and entertaining way, with a good script. And from the commercial, it looks
Yeah.
great. A lot of fighting scenes. And I'll be interested in where they're going with the plot. And hopefully it'll continue and be in a place to where it can continue based off of the story.
I have ultimate faith in this. I think that they didn't let us down last time. Ryan Coogler knows what he's doing. The music, everything.
Yeah.
To set this, everything's so far so good. I'm still on the train of they should have recast T'Challa. I know I mention it almost every time. I feel like everybody's struggling to make it make sense because they're trying to work around the death of Chadwick. But if they would have just recast, we could have just gone down the path that they originally set, and people would be pissed. But I think 2 years later after his death, I think people would have been. People are going to do what they're going to do anyway. They're going to be, he's not better than Chadwick. Well, that would happen no matter what. People are still saying that the guy playing Rhodey isn't better than the guy who played him in Iron Man 1. People are going to do that regardless. But I say just keep the story moving forward. But that's neither here nor there. But
they're gonna have to say something. Like they're gonna have to explain why Black Panther is not.
We might see it. We might see him get killed. We might see a guy in the suit who's supposed to be T'Challa get him in a fight, and then maybe the Namor, maybe he's the one who kills him, or maybe that's the secret Doctor Doom mystery thing or something. It's a mystery that he's gone.
And maybe when he gets killed, his last act is releasing the spirit of the
power. The power. There's
transference of power.
Oh, there's a secret herb that's over here, and they go find it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That would. I don't know. I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I hope
that's
they
a
don't.
stretch.
They said they weren't going to do any CGI Chadwick, so I don't know. But guys,
okay.
We'll have to keep speculating on it. Tomorrow's show, we're gonna on the full rundown. We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Sneak preview. There is a search for some uncle niece love ever since the latest episode of House of Dragon on a certain hub website that's been increasing. So we're gonna be talking a little Dragon Daddy. That's going to be our main topic tomorrow. So I'll throw it over to Sarah to sign us off. I know she's looking forward to
Dragon
that.
Uncle.
The Dragon Uncle Daddy Love.
Yeah.
Let me throw it over to
It's
Sarah
Dragon Uncle.
to sign off. So Sarah, and after I throw it to you, after you throw it back to me, after you tell people where they can find you online.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Sarah Catherine the Red, and YouTube. I've got a channel, but I'm mostly on Instagram. So, yay!
And she throws it back to me. That's a new thing. That's a new thing I want to work on. Like on the panel, we're gonna go around. Like I say, hey Joy, where can they find you online? And shit, and Joy will go, oh, you can find me over here at blah blah blah. Hey Tabitha, where can they find you online? Then Tabitha will be like, oh, you can find me on, and then throw it to Sarah, like a round. But don't worry about it. We'll work on it. We'll work on. We'll work the bugs out, guys.
It's just the two of us, though.
Yeah, but I thought it was gonna be cool. Why can't you just be cool?
You can't just like imagine I can read your mind or something. You have to tell me these things beforehand and not go. I just expect her to know, and then I'll explain it afterwards.
Just like we talked about right before the show started, I was saying something verbatim. She was not listening, and then she goes and she's pointed out that I do this to her too. She didn't hear
all the time.
She didn't hear when I said I'm going to throw it to you, and after you tell people where they can find you online, you can throw it back to me. She didn't know that that's what I was actually saying, but that's fine. A little hiccup.
Semantic. I didn't know what to do.
A little hiccup in production. This has been the rundown, guys. On our quick rundown rush. Remember you can find us on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for the rundown. I'm gonna take a break from the Monday one because I have so much work to do. I can't always do it on a Monday. But for the rundown rush, Wednesdays and Fridays, and the main show on Thursdays. Also, I don't know if I'm gonna do this monthly or bi-weekly. I'm bringing back Talking Through the Media's Live, that the original format of the rundown. I'm going to bring that back, but only when I can get a certain number of all the, the OG, the current panelists, so we can all come together as a group and talk collectively about stuff going on. Not necessarily entertainment news stuff. I mean, let's just let's shoot the breeze. Like,
we should have a couple of drinks and see what happens.
I'm talking a party panel. Party panel. Maybe that's what we'll call it. The party panel.
Party panel.
The party panel.
The rundown party panel.
No. The T3 Media's Live. Yeah, the show used to be called. Yeah, so I'll refill this and we'll work on the party panel. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll call it.
The OPP.
Yeah, you know me. All right, guys, Talking Through the Medias, as always, is brought to you before a live studio audience of, people who want to, believe that the heart-shaped herb can survive. But it did not. Yeah. She definitely dug up the dead bodies. That's my theory is going to be true.
I would have shoved that shit in my pocket so fast, you wouldn't even seen it.
Yeah. Over a guy named Killmonger. Yeah, you would have risked it all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just stole it.
All right.
You don't know me.
No, she's